Hello and welcome to the Blueline Site Safety Training. This training is required for all Blueline employees, subcontractors who work with Blueline, and anyone who will be working on site at Blueline projects. In today's training, we will be covering Blueline's construction team, general safety rules, personal protective equipment, or PPE, safety policies, and the adherence to the covered policies and procedures in this program.
This is Ken Larson, President of Blueline Associates. Before we begin, I'd like to say a few words regarding this program. At Blueline, our goal is always have an injury-free job site. We take great pride in our safety program and expect our fellow contractors to abide by the safety excellence that Blueline embodies. We require and encourage each worker to comply with the safety policies, code of conduct, and safety initiatives that will take place on all of our projects. If you recognize any safety hazard, we expect you to report it immediately to ensure it does not result in an injury. We appreciate your support in maintaining a safe and healthful work environment.
Blueline's construction team consists of project managers, project engineers, superintendents, and a safety manager. Prior to project kickoff, please check in and confirm which members of the construction team will be managing the project you are working on. Their contact information will be distributed prior to construction. If you have general project questions or concerns, please direct them to the project manager or project engineer. If you have on-site specific questions, please direct them to the on-site superintendent. Before entering the job site, every person is required to have their personal protective equipment, or PPE for short. This includes a hard hat, eye protection, safety vest, construction shoes, and a Blueline safety sticker. Depending on the job site conditions, additional PPE may be required. The on-site superintendent will inform you of any additional requirements, if needed. If you come to the job site without the required PPE, it will be provided to you for an additional fee. Only authorized personnel are allowed on the job site, meaning if someone does not have their PPE, Blueline safety sticker, or is not a laborer or on the project team, then they are not allowed on site. Safety stickers must be visible and worn at all times. If your sticker falls off, please report it to a member of the Blueline construction team and we will get you a replacement. Any and all visitors must check in with the on-site superintendent or at the main construction office if applicable. If you see someone on site who does not look authorized to be there, please report it to the on-site superintendent immediately. Unauthorized individuals on site will be dismissed immediately and trespassers will be prosecuted. The next two slides cover some general safety rules for the job site. Additional rules may apply depending on on-site conditions. The rules are as follows. Emergencies. Every employee must know the emergency evacuation plan and their responsibilities in it. If you do not know the emergency evacuation plan, please contact your superintendent. First aid. Employees must notify a foreman immediately after any injury, regardless of its severity. Employees shall call 911 immediately only if an injury is life-threatening. Smoking. Smoking is strictly forbidden. Authorized operation. Only authorized persons are permitted to operate, repair, or adjust machinery, vehicles, or equipment. Safety signs, tags, and posted speed limits. Safety signs and danger tags are used to warn employees against accident hazards. Disregard of safety signs, tags, or operation of equipment that has been tagged out is a serious offense and will not be tolerated. Use of safety devices and guards. Employees are required to use the safety devices and guards installed on machines and equipment they operate. Guards and safety devices must not be removed, modified, or made inoperative. Fire extinguishers. Employees must know where the fire extinguishers are in their work areas and whether they are trained and authorized to use one. Graffiti. Graffiti will not be tolerated in or around the job site. This includes areas around wash stations and porta potties. Language. Loud, abusive, or profane language will not be tolerated. Music. No radios or headphones are allowed on the job site. Horseplay. Horseplay will not be tolerated. Horseplay includes any willful act that may startle or distract other employees. Running. All personnel must not run anywhere on site premises or while performing work. Housekeeping. Employees are required to keep their machines, equipment, and work areas clean at all times. Aisles, exits, eye wash stations, and fire equipment must be kept clear at all times and easily accessible for use. Nothing can be stored in front of emergency equipment or exit doors at any time. Walkways. Aisleways and walking surfaces must be kept clear at all times. Weapons. Weapons of any kind are not permitted at work or in a company vehicle. Bathrooms. Bathrooms must be kept clean. Warm water will be available for washing hands, as well as means for hand drying. Unsafe conditions. All employees are required to report any unsafe condition immediately upon recognition. Blueline recognizes that cell phones are a useful and necessary tool for project completion. However, while on the job site, cell phone use is to be limited to work purposes, like confirming scope with your project manager or asking an RFI, calling in emergencies, and while on break. Personal cell phone use, like checking social media or personal messages, is to be limited to breaks only. Using your cell phone for personal use during work poses a danger to yourself and others because it is a major distraction. Your attention should be focused on the task at hand and not your phone. Please remember to always stay alert. Porta potties and wash stations will be provided on the job site for your use. Do not use the on-site interior restrooms unless it has been cleared by property management. If you do not know if the interior restrooms are available, please ask the on-site superintendent. Please remember that we all share these and to keep them clean and tidy. Graffiti in or on the restroom stations will not be tolerated. If there is an issue with one of the restrooms, please report it to Blueline superintendent immediately. A clean and organized workplace not only helps with production, but prevents slips, trips, and falls, and improves overall safety of the job site. Remember to properly store all your tools and materials and clean your work area daily. You are responsible for your work area's cleanliness and trash cleanup. Do not leave garbage lying around. If you see a spill or leak, please clean it up immediately and report any concerns to the on-site superintendent. The job site is our office, and we want to take pride in it by keeping it clean and organized. If there is any flammable or combustible liquid on site, please always store it in the proper storage area or cabinets. Never leave it by hot work and open flames. Remember to only use approved metal safety cans when storing the liquid. Plastic cans are prohibited. Hot work includes grinding, cutting, welding, brazing, soldering, heating, hot air welding, or other operations that generate heat, arcs, sparks, or other sources of ignition. Hot work can be dangerous and requires additional precautions while performing it. Always wear gloves and proper safety equipment. Prior to performing hot work, you must obtain a permit from the on-site superintendent. This permit will be good for one shift. Dry cutting, chipping, or grinding of concrete, cement block, brick, pavers, tiles, or similar materials is not permitted without a HEPA vacuum. We want to control the dust as much as possible on our projects to keep the air and area clean. In order to do that, use a water or HEPA vacuum to control your dust while performing dry cutting. Fire extinguishers will always be provided on the job site, specifically in the areas of hot work, fuel storage, flammable and combustible liquid storage, temporary heaters, and any work that may generate a fire hazard. If you do not know how to use a fire extinguisher, please speak to the on-site superintendent and they will instruct you how. Electrical cords and tools can be found all over the job site. Before use, inspect the tools to ensure there is no damage or wear. If there is damage, please remove the item from the job site immediately. It is very important that you consider all electrical equipment and wires to be live until properly tested and shown to be dead. Remember to always use the right equipment for your location and the present work conditions. Fall protection is required at all times if the fall hazard is more than 6 feet. Fall protection includes guardrails, safety nets, fall arrest systems, and covers. Always inspect fall protection equipment prior to every use. When finished with the equipment, properly store it and keep it away from sharp objects. If you do not have fall protection equipment, please ask a superintendent or supervisor. Some further guidelines when using guardrails are to have the top rail at 42 inches high, with the mid-rail halfway between the top rail and the floor, with toe boards at least 4 inches high. Never tie off your guardrails. All floor openings are to be covered, and the covering should be able to support twice the intended load. When placing the cover, remember to properly label it with a description of what you are covering. There are a few types of ladders that will be used across the job site. Straight and extension ladders must be secured, have non-skid safety feet, and extend more than 36 inches above the upper landing. Do not stand on the top 3 steps of an extension ladder. When using step ladders, do not stand on the top cap or the top step. Open and lock hinges before climbing, and never use a leaning step ladder. Make sure ladders are always set up on a firm and secure footing. Lastly, all safety labels must be clear and intact on the ladders. If they are not, the ladder will be removed from the job site. When using scaffolds, never surf, skate, or stand on the rails. You are to only stand on the platform, lock the wheels while in use, and use outriggers while you are more than 1 frame high. Guardrails are also required when the platform is more than 4 feet high. Prior to any excavation work, be sure to check in and be aware of any underground utilities. If you are performing exterior trenching, you are required to call USA at 811 and have them verify the underground utilities. Remember to use the appropriate support and ladders depending on the depth of the excavation. Aerial lifts have become commonplace on job sites. Remember to never stand on the mid or top rail of any lift and to close the gate or chain. Tie in the boom lifts when you get on the platform and watch out for holes, depressions, cords, and other materials while in use. Always follow the operating instructions when performing work on an aerial lift. Forklifts and gradles can only be operated by those who have been trained to do so. Proof of training must be provided prior to use. Seatbelts must be worn at all times and never leave a raised forklift unattended. Make sure everything is safe and functioning prior to use and always understand the limits of the equipment. When using any vehicle, your seatbelt must be worn at all times. Backup alarms must be turned on and the rollover protection structure or cage must be in place. Never use damaged vehicles or equipment and inspect the equipment prior to every use. If you see that there is something wrong with the equipment, please report it to the on-site superintendent immediately. In order to stay environmentally compliant, Blueline would like their team to follow some basic guidelines. Don't wash out or dump concrete waste, grout, adhesives, leveling compounds, mastics, paints, or primers on the ground or down a drain. Always use a designated washout. And don't forget to store liquids in proper secondary spill and leak containment. Don't damage, move, or remove the stormwater pollution prevention systems. Tell your supervisor if they are in your way or if they are broken and they will be fixed. Also, cutting equipment needs secondary containment like a drip pan or sandbox. Now that we have covered best practices and procedures in regards to on-site work and safety, we will cover what to do in the case of an emergency. An emergency is any situation that poses an immediate threat to life or property. In the event of an incident, like a fire or injury, that requires the assistance of outside personnel, craftspersons and superintendents shall contact Blueline management immediately. If the situation requires immediate outside attention and there is no time to contact a management team member, individuals shall dial 911. Before entering the job site, there are several emergency locations you need to be aware of. At all times, you should know where you are on the site, where the 2 closest exits and exit routes are, how to get out safely, where to meet in the case of an emergency, and the locations of the electrical room, riser room, eye wash station, first aid station, and emergency exits are. If you do not know where these locations or areas are, please talk to the on-site superintendent prior to beginning work. Also, if any alarms go off or there is a verbal sign to exit, please leave the work site immediately using the closest safety route. Remember to check in with your superintendent after evacuation. Heat exhaustion and heat stroke are very prevalent in the summer months. In order to avoid heat exhaustion or stroke, do the following. Drink water every 15 minutes. Don't drink too much caffeine, it can further dehydrate you. Remember to rest in the shade and watch out for each other. If someone in your crew has symptoms, notify the superintendent or supervisor immediately. Move the person to a cool, shaded area and slowly give them water. If available, give them ice packs and fan them. Always remember to stay aware, drink plenty of water, and take a rest if needed. Being in the state of California, earthquakes can and do happen. If an earthquake does occur, do not panic. Quickly find a sturdy and safe place to get cover, like a doorway or table, and hold on. Once the shaking has stopped, evacuate the job site and head to the designated evacuation area and check in with the on-site superintendent. Remember, do not panic and find a safe place to get cover. Each and every employee on site is responsible for their own and their team's safety. All accidents, incidents, and near misses must be reported immediately to your supervisor and the Blueline supervisor. A full report of the incident must be completed by the end of the shift by the on-site superintendent or supervisor. Incident reports must be submitted to Blueline Safety Manager or Human Resources Department. Injured employees must be accompanied to the hospital or clinic by a superintendent or supervisor. Remember to always notify a member of the Blueline construction team if there is an incident or accident. Blueline is here to help and to keep the people who work with us safe. We are all on the same team. Everyone on the job site is required to adhere to the safety policies covered in this presentation. Inspections of the job site will be completed periodically and safety violations will be addressed immediately. Violations of safety policies or general code of conduct may result in immediate dismissal from the job site. All authorized crew members will be required to display their Blueline safety sticker prominently on their hard hat. As a reminder, if you lose your Blueline safety sticker, please contact the on-site superintendent and we will get you a replacement. If you have any questions or concerns with regards to our site safety training or safety guidelines, please contact Blueline Safety Manager or a member of the Blueline construction team. Blueline's main office line is 925-462-2200. Thank you for your time and congratulations on completing the site safety training. Please see the Blueline representative conducting the training for your safety sticker.